Hey everybody, Joker here with another video. This time bringing you guys another special review, continuing my Return of the Jedi 30th anniversary commemorative series with a review of my very favorite Boba Fett figure, and that is the vintage original trilogy collection Return of the Jedi version Boba Fett. But before I begin, I'd like to preface this by saying that I'm sorry guys, I know my channel for these past 2 weeks has been a bit boring, not a whole lot of activity going on. I've just been very busy with midterm exams at schools and preparing for a vacation, which I will take next week. And so unfortunately you will not see me for another week on posting videos, at least on YouTube. So that's why I wanted to do this very special review of this very special figure before I went, just to tide you guys over, I guess. And as you can see, I really like this figure because I have 3 of him, and actually from different releases as well. So for those of you who don't know, Boba Fett is my all-time favorite Star Wars character. So for me to say that this particular figure is my #1 favorite Boba Fett figure, at least in the Star Wars 3 3/4 inch range, then yeah, you know that's some high praise coming from me. Really awesome figure. Just love really everything about this guy. He's just such an awesome, cool figure. So let's go on to why he is. So first, as you can see here, this is the loose figure that I have of him. This is the vintage original trilogy version. In the background here, this is the vintage collection release of him, and this is his carded one of his VOTC release. Really, before we actually talk about the figure itself, to talk about the differences in the releases, if I can get it on camera, let me adjust my camera there real quick. There you can see. So, not a whole lot of differences, to be honest, between the two. However, something that I have noticed is that this one, the Vintage Collection release, does have a darker paint scheme than this one does. Whether that's more screen accurate or not, I do not remember at the moment. I'd have to see like a still image from Return of the Jedi to judge. And this one also has more like silver, like weathering marks on his armor than this one does. And a big difference is in the gauntlets. If you can see, this one is a kind of a lighter, kind of reddish brown, almost getting into like a rusty look. And this one is a darker, leaning more towards brown look. And it has more silver, like paint scratches, scuffs on his armor and stuff. But besides that, they're very much the same. This one has more metallic scuffs on it, is from what I can tell. But so that's the difference between these two versions. I guess you can just choose which one you prefer. But really, to me, it doesn't matter a great bit. But yeah, that's just the differences in the paint between these two. So let's talk about the actual figure itself, since the base figure for all of his releases are the exact same. Really astonishing attention to detail on this guy. Especially what I really love. And this is a big thing for me when I'm judging a helmeted, especially like Mandalorian figure, is how does the helmet look? If you're familiar with Hasbro, which I'm sure many of you are, then you know that Hasbro's had some difficulties capturing the exact proportions of Boba Fett's helmet. And I think that this version is the closest that they've gotten so far. It may be a bit too wide, but I still prefer this to being too narrow, like the Empire Strikes Back version is. And also a big thing is this one is not removable. Yes, you heard me right. This is a Boba Fett figure that does not have a removable helmet. And I actually really like that, because when you have a removable helmet, it makes the helmet look a bit strange, because you have to, actually fit a sculpted face underneath it. So it's made out of that soft rubber that's easily very pliable. And it gets distorted and it looks weird. Not to say that there aren't good figures with removable helmets, but more often than not, they are not so great. So I'm really glad that back in the day when Hasbro made this, they decided to go with just having a non-removable helmet, which this is before they really started doing removable helmets anyway. But I think that the helmet looks really nice. Again, the proportions are mostly correct from what I can tell and from memory. Maybe a bit too wide, but I'm fine with that. The paint apps on this helmet is really nice. Let me zoom in so give you guys a better look at him. He has paint in all the right places. You know, he's got the little ding in his helmet, and it's got some silver paint in there. More so on the Vintage Collection version, but I've already shown you guys that. Just really awesome detail on this guy. For accessories he comes with a removable jetpack, and he comes with his handy dandy blaster rifle, which I forget what the in-universe name for this is. I'm terrible with remembering designations for weapons. But those are the accessories he comes with, and then get those out of the way so you can see the detail on the figure itself. Really nice. You can see on his shoulder there he has the Mandalorian skull symbol. Real cloth, little draping cloak. You can see it's got little 2 holes in it, kind of like blaster holes, like he got shot at and made a hole in his cape, which that looks really nice. Definitely, I much prefer this cape to the one that was on the Vintage Collection Empire Strikes Back Boba. I just felt that one was way too long. It went below his feet, actually, if you just held the figure up. So this one is a nice length, I think. See, there's even not a really big amount of detail on the back, but you can see that he does have some indentations and things right there. So accurate to the movie. And turn around back on the front. Just give you guys a look at it. He's got his little Wookiee braids, which could have been done better, but I'm not really complaining. I mean, they look like they should. You know, it's got the yellow braid and the brown hair braid, so it looks nice. Got all the pouches here. The yellow knee guards and his boots, which again has a bit more silver paint on the tips in the Vintage Collection release, but it doesn't really bother me that much. So overall, really nice looking figure, and on top of that, he's also a very nicely articulated figure at that. So his head is on a ball joint, obviously, so you can get a really nice range of motion. You can get him looking down quite a bit, which I think that's fantastic. You can also look up, not as much, really. It's only a very slight look up, just because the way that the helmet's designed, Hasbro can't really do anything about that. But yeah, just ever so slightly looking up. Probably on camera you can't even tell that he's looking up, just might look like he's looking straight forward, but let's see if we can get the camera to adjust. And you can see this line of sight would be going a little bit up. Let me try moving these carded figures out of the way, if that helps the camera focus any. So yeah, his head is on a ball joint. Shoulders are on like a ball and socket. He's got the same full range of motion as a ball joint. A bit hindered by the shoulder pads, but I would rather have it look nice and limit the articulation a little bit than just make it look ugly and not have it. So yeah, they go up about that much. Well, there we go. So they go up about that much. Still not bad. I mean, you can get him in some really nice poses with that. Almost 180 degrees. He's got a single jointed elbow, but you can spin it all around. He's got a swivel here at his gauntlet, if you can tell, but not one at the wrist. That's why they have it in the gauntlet, because again, it would have made the sculpt not look as nice to have it like that. And he's got a swivel waist. He's got swivel hips. You can go out about that much. And it can go back about that much, so nice range of motion on those. Single jointed knees, again you can twist them all around and whatnot. And he has ankle articulation, again you can spin it around and point and flex it. So really nice articulation on this guy, especially considering his age. I believe the original release of him was maybe like 2004, anywhere from 2004 to 2006. I forget when exactly the Vintage Original Trilogy collection was released. But that's so yeah, pretty old sculpt now for this figure. I've had this particular figure since it was released all those years back, and I instantly fell in love with it. This is one. This has been and still is one of my favorite Star Wars figures in my collection. Just looks so awesome doing pretty much anything. I mean, you can get him in all kinds of cool poses. Again, he has really nice articulation, so you can get him looking pretty pimpin' in any pose, you know, just like looking there like, yeah, I'm Boba Fett and that stuff. So, really awesome figure. Again, I also have this figure card. I see, even back when I was a kid, I knew this figure was so good that I needed to get it twice. So I actually have this one. It was actually bought from when it was originally released. It has never been removed from the protective case. And even, again, when the Vintage Collection re-released this figure, I just had to pick him up on this Return of the Jedi card, which you can see there. It does say Return of the Jedi, not Empire Strikes Back. I know that there's like a variant to that whole wave that had like Revenge of the Jedi instead of Return of the Jedi, just to kind of a throwback to the original title of Return of the Jedi before it was changed. But this is just the regular Return of the Jedi version. I didn't feel it necessary to hunt down every different variation in this guy. But, yeah, just outstanding figure. Really, I love this figure. What can I say? Give you guys a good look at the jetpack, too. It has really nice paint apps on it as well. Yeah, the only bit that I have a complaint with is that his blaster rifle could have had more paint detail on it. It's just cast in a solid black. But if you really wanted to, you could swap it with the Empire Strikes Back version of Boba, which actually had really nice paint apps on his blaster rifle, and give it to this guy, and you'd have a pretty darn awesome Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. So, really great figure. Can't recommend him enough. I know that he's a bit pricey to get online now, I believe. I haven't looked him up in a while. I know that the VOTC release I think last time I checked, went for like $20 to $30 online. I'm not quite sure what the Vintage Collection release of him goes for now, but he is a bit pricey. I also believe that he was recently re-released in the movie Heroes line, except for they gave him like a gimmicky backpack, I believe. So if you're really desperate, I guess go for the movie Heroes version. But from what pictures I saw, it didn't have as nice paint apps, and again, it had the gimmicky backpack that in no way, shape, or form was screen accurate to Return of the Jedi. So, yeah, really awesome figure. I love this figure. One of my favorite Star Wars figures in general, and by far my favorite 3 3/4 inch Boba Fett figure. It looks fantastic and has the articulation to back it up as well. It really just knocks it out of the ballpark. Really awesome. That's not to say that they couldn't make improvements upon this. I hope that Hasbro does eventually return to the Return of the Jedi version of Boba Fett, and maybe tweak the articulation, like maybe give him some ball-hinged hips. That would be nice. It seems like we haven't really gotten a Boba Fett that has, like, you know, super articulation, but it just has like really good articulation. So ball-hinged hips would be nice. Maybe, you know, a little bit of tweaking would make this figure like really awesome, in my opinion. But still is a great figure. Looks fantastic. Highly recommend it. A must-have figure for any fan of Boba Fett or Return of the Jedi or bounty hunters in general. Just a great figure. Really love it. I've talked enough about this figure, I think. Again, sorry that I wasn't here these past 2 weeks. Just been very busy with my personal life, and I won't be here next week either because, you know, I'll be on vacation. But I will have my camera with me, maybe like record some videos if I pick up anything while I'm there and stuff. So yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Leave your comments and feedback in the comment section below. Even though I'll be on vacation, I still will check all my comments and all my personal messages and all that jazz. So I will still be responding to you guys. I won't be like totally cut off from the outside world or anything. But yeah, really awesome figure. Highly recommend it. Definitely go pick him up. Pick him up multiple times if you can. I really love how this looks on card back as well. That's why I have 3 different versions of this figure, because I love it that much. So thank you guys for watching as always. This is Boba Fett signing out. Bye.